Pardon the interruption, but I'm Frank Isola. It's National Poetry at Work Day, Tony. You got a poem for us?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I'm good with news that's a shocker. On most sports, I'm a good talker. But one thing I'd savor is if you do me the favor of taking the lead on the soccer.
Right? You got it.
Think you can help with that? That would be great.
Man.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Wilbon remains on his Arctic expedition, so I am joined by our great friend from the starting lineup on Sirius XM, Mr. Frank Isola.
Wow.
Okay. And right up Frank's alley, we begin today with Argentina improbably advancing to face Spain in Sunday's World Cup final. England scored early in the second half and looked to be headed for the win before Argentina scored late, as it always does, to tie the game. And then again in stoppage time for the win. Frank, what do you make of Argentina's win and how they did it?
So in '86, it was the hand of God. In '98, Beckham gets the red card against Argentina. This was the collapse by England. They looked like they were in control. And, Tony, they took that 1-0 lead. Anthony Gordon, that was a beautiful goal. Morgan Rogers set it up with a beautiful cross. And then they just decided to park the bus. They started subbing out offensive players for defensive players, and they let Argentina just keep chipping away. You know, and they call England the Three Lions. The heart of the champion belongs, or the heart of a lion, I should say, belongs to the defending champs. Argentina, all tournament long, has their road been that tough? Probably not. But they were down to Egypt 2-0. They came back and won that game. But to do this against England, when Thomas Tuchel, the manager, and he's going to face a lot of criticism, Tony, back in England, for making all those substitutions instead of just keep playing, because they look like the better team for most of this match. Why not try to score that second goal? Yeah. So they give up the first on a beautiful shot by Enzo Fernandez, who plays for Chelsea in England, by the way. And then the kid Martinez, who plays over in Italy, had the goal, which, by the way, came off the assist from Lionel Messi. That is a brutal, brutal loss for England and another inspiring win for Argentina.
So I just have a couple of things to say, because you've covered the waterfront on this. One is that you say the coach will get some criticism because he went to a defensive mindset. I agree with that. You put the goalie was great, but you put so much pressure on the goalie. It looked like in the last 20 minutes, all the action is down on the English end. And apparently, this is what Argentina does better than any country in the world. They score late. This is their 7th game in the World Cup. This was their 10th and 11th goals after the 75-minute mark. I mean, they are living on the razor's edge, but they do this all the time. Are you surprised? Did you think England had...
I'm still trying to process the incredible match between Argentina and England in the World Cup. Argentina's win was nothing short of thrilling, and I have to say, I'm impressed by their determination and skill on the field. As Frank Isola pointed out, England looked like they were in control, especially after taking the lead with a beautiful goal by Anthony Gordon. But Argentina refused to give up, and their persistence paid off in the end. I think what's interesting about this game is that Argentina has a history of scoring late goals, and this was their 7th game in the World Cup where they scored after the 75-minute mark. In fact, this was their 10th and 11th goals after the 75-minute mark, which is a testament to their endurance and ability to stay focused under pressure. As Tony Kornheiser noted, Argentina seems to thrive in high-pressure situations, and this game was no exception. One of the key factors that contributed to Argentina's win was England's decision to switch to a defensive mindset after taking the lead. As Frank Isola pointed out, this strategy backfired, and Argentina was able to capitalize on England's mistakes. I think this is a great example of how a team's strategy can make or break their chances of winning. In this case, England's decision to play it safe ultimately cost them the game. I also want to talk about Lionel Messi's role in the game. At 39 years old, he's still playing at an incredible level, and his assist in the game was a testament to his skill and experience. As Tony Kornheiser noted, if Argentina wins the World Cup, it's going to be hard to argue that Messi is not the greatest of all time. I think this is a valid point, and Messi's performance in the tournament so far has been impressive, to say the least. As I watched the game, I couldn't help but think about the similarities between this match and other World Cup games. As Frank Isola pointed out, Argentina's win was reminiscent of their victory in 1986, when they won the World Cup with the help of Diego Maradona. I think this is a great example of how history can repeat itself in sports, and how teams can draw inspiration from their past successes. I also want to talk about the impact of the game on the players and the teams involved. As Tony Kornheiser noted, England's loss is going to be tough to swallow, especially given their strong performance in the first half of the game. On the other hand, Argentina's win is going to be a huge boost to their confidence and morale. I think this is a great example of how a single game can have a significant impact on a team's psyche and performance. As I reflect on the game, I'm struck by the complexity and nuance of the strategies and tactics employed by both teams. As Frank Isola pointed out, Argentina's ability to score late goals is a testament to their endurance and ability to stay focused under pressure. I think this is a great example of how a team's strategy can make or break their chances of win. And how important it is to stay adaptable and focused throughout the game. In conclusion, Argentina's win over England was an incredible game that showcased the skill, determination, and endurance of both teams. As I watched the game, I was struck by the complexity and nuance of the strategies and tactics employed by both teams, and I think this is a great example of how sports can be both unpredictable and thrilling. I'm excited to see how the rest of the tournament plays out, and I think Argentina has a good chance of making it to the final. As Tony Kornheiser noted, if they win the World Cup, it's going to be hard to argue that Messi is not the greatest of all time. I think this is a valid point, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the tournament unfolds. I think it's also worth noting that this game was a great example of how sports can bring people together and create a sense of community and camaraderie. As I watched the game, I was struck by the passion and enthusiasm of the fans, and I think this is a great example of how sports can transcend borders and cultures. I think this is one of the things that makes sports so compelling and exciting, and I'm grateful to have been able to watch this game and experience the thrill and excitement of the World Cup. As I look back on the game, I'm reminded of the importance of perseverance and determination in sports. Argentina's win was a testament to their ability to stay focused and motivated, even in the face of adversity. I think this is a great lesson for teams and players at all levels, and I think it's something that can be applied to many different areas of life. As Frank Isola pointed out, Argentina's ability to score late goals is a testament to their endurance and ability to stay focused under pressure, and I think this is a great example of how teams can overcome obstacles and achieve their goals through hard work and determination. In the end, I think Argentina's win over England was an incredible game that showcased the skill, determination, and endurance of both teams. I'm excited to see how the rest of the tournament plays out, and I think Argentina has a good chance of making it to the final. As Tony Kornheiser noted, if they win the World Cup, it's going to be hard to argue that Messi is not the greatest of all time. I think this is a valid point, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the tournament unfolds.